Alright, and recording. Alright. Hi, I am Kuro Asterisk, and this is Flushed Away for the Nintendo GameCube. This is going to be my submission for License-a-thon. Yeah, just get started. Okay, so this run starts off, like, really involved. Like, a lot of the hardest tricks in the game, are in the first few levels, so, there's not going to be that much exposition to begin with. It's just going to be jumping right into it. So yeah. First of all, so this is Kensington Apartment. This is the first level in the game. It serves as a tutorial. Teaches you how to jump, double jump, attack, all that good stuff. And this may look like a very nice open area, but this is actually one of the most dangerous places in the game. There's kill planes like everywhere. Almost everywhere, though. We're able to jump on this lampshade you see in front of us. Like so. And get on here. So that skips the entire tutorial section. So we don't have to do any of the tutorial stuff. So now we just go directly to the kitchen, which will bring us to the end of the level. So in the kitchen, our goal is to get to the kitchen sink on the island. However, you'd normally go around the perimeter and then go on a rope to then descend down. We're gonna do things a little bit differently. This is one of the hardest tricks in the game, by the way. First, I need to do a frame-perfect trick here. There we go. That was an attack jump. So at the very end of the attack animation, I pressed jump, and that allowed me to get another jump in midair because the game thinks I'm grounded at the very end of that animation for a single frame. Okay. I got hit. Yeah, so not only is that trick frame perfect, like getting there, the game also has to cooperate. It can shoot you down like it did there. So yeah, the cool part was the attack jump, so I'm just gonna do it normally. So this is the normal thing. You're supposed to go around, dodge the Norf guns. That's what they're called in this game. And yeah, then get back on that rope I was just on. Yeah. It sucks. So when you go around normally, the Norf guns will stop shooting at you, but when you go early like I did, they will always be on and will constantly shoot at you. So it's not only a battle of getting the frame perfect trick and then lining yourself up on the rope and dropping off of it to the kitchen sink, you also just have to not get hit by the game. Whoops. Alright, I was attempting to do a cutscene skip, but I did not do it right. Which it only wastes like 7 seconds. So now I have to wait for that cutscene to then start this cutscene of talking to him and getting the next mission. So the next stage normally takes like 7-ish minutes. So you start in this one area, you then go down to like this spider pit and have to traverse all around, collect a jar of flies, and then leave where you came from. We're going to skip most of the level. But it's a bit difficult. So you see that like pillar like in the middle, you're supposed to jump into that and then it will break and bring you to the rest of the level. You can stand on the perimeter like that and jump around. And so now we're at the end of the level. So what I'm doing now is to trigger the actual, like, beat the level trigger. I have to backtrack all the way through the level to this elevator. I have to then drop in the elevator, and then the game will think, oh, you're at the elevator, and it'll then bring me up, and then things will resume as normal. And that is when I have to collect the flies. Oops. Just have to make sure I don't die. Yeah, so you saw I took fall damage there. Fall damage in this game is really brutal. Yeah, so if I fell for like even a frame more, I would have died because fall damage would have accumulated and been too much. So it's a very thin margin between life and death when it comes to falling. But we do have ways around that, which we'll see in the next level. But for now, we collected the jar of flies, and we are done with the level. So we're heading back the same exact way we came in. So yeah, what would be like a 7-8 minute level is just completely skipped, thanks to the jar of flies skip in the beginning. And yeah, that's the end. Okay, so now we are on to our next playable character, Rita. Oh, yeah, I guess I didn't say that was Roddy St. James we were playing at. So yeah, Rita plays pretty much the same as Roddy. Only difference is instead of a wooden toothpick as a weapon, she has a bungee cord. Another very weird difference is that she is much slower in the air. Her air mobility is just significantly worse for some reason. And like in the universe, she is the more athletic one, as you can see with her flip as she does in her double jump. Yeah, anyway, we're going to see another frame perfect trick. This is called a death cancel. Oh, I actually got first try. Yeah, so that fall would typically kill me due to fall damage. But if you attack on the frame you land, you completely ignore fall damage. So yeah, I'm able to get here. So typically you'd have to go around and zip line down to get to this section, but I can skip that. Talking about skipping things, we're supposed to go into this room and like slowly descend, make water go down and stuff, but we're just gonna go out of bounds right here and then fall through. So typically there's like water and we have to do this long section, but we can skip all that. So now we're at the bottom of this flood room and we exit as normally. So it's not fully loaded in yet, but yeah. So now the rest of the stage is pretty much normal. So these are slug enemies. They throw gooey projectiles, and they have dead-eye accuracy, which is not fun. Especially when you have to jump over large gaps, because if you get hit, they will flinch you and pretty much cancel your jump. Which just leads you to your doom. Which sucks. But yeah. So this is the water treatment room. Unfortunately, I did not get a good cycle on this gear. You'll see there's a hole in the gear, and I have to... The only way to get past is jumping through that, but fortunately, I have to wait. It's completely random what cycle this gear will be on. We don't understand how to control it, so it's quite unfortunate when making a task for this game, for instance, and just generally playing the level, because it can waste up to 7 seconds to get the worst position of the gear. Gonna do a little shortcut here. We phase through the ground to get to this grapple. That's one of Rita's abilities. You can grapple onto things. Yeah, so now we're going to go through another Steam section, as you just saw. Steam in this game, the hitbox is bigger than what it seems like it is. Like, a lot of times it looks like, oh, I could just, like, jump over it, but for most of them, you can't. It's like a huge hitbox. So yeah, you're just kind of at the whims of the Steam cycles. And if you get really unlucky with how the Steam hits you, it can just combo you either into the pit or just kill you by dealing enough damage to you. But yeah, right now I'm in a good Steam cycle, I just run forward. So as you've seen with grapples, all I've been able to do is just descend from them. And typically, that's all you're supposed to be able to do. But we can actually abuse a mechanic, as you'll see with the next grapple. So what I'm going to do is make Rita stay on the grapple for a little bit, then mash jump, So the game thinks she's grounded for like a split second, and in that split second, I'm allowed to jump. So then I can scale higher as opposed to just falling, and so that saves like 30 seconds as opposed to just like walking around. Talking about walking or saving time, you're gonna see me use the shoulder buttons to do these side steps. In this room, you're only allowed to tiptoe because you want to be stealthy, but it's very slow and you also can't jump, so this is the fastest form of movement in this room. But now that we're here, we can run normally again. Alright, so our goal here is to steal the ruby back, because it's rightfully hers. So we gotta pull these corgi statues to unveil it, and then we take it. And then we make our escape. That's Whitey, and that's Spike below. Yeah. So now we're onto the grind rail section. And this is one of the first breaks we get. Yeah, it's just, you have to wait. There's not much you can do. There's these, like, little nuts on the pipes that deal damage when you go over them, but if you go in with full health, the game will provide you with enough health recovery to where it's not an issue. You're not going to be at risk of dying. Yeah, all we can really do is wait until we get to her boat, the Jammy Dodger. And that will bring us to the next level, which is the first boat level. So something we found just this year is a new skip that completely changed the route. It saves over 2 minutes. So yeah, it's called the Flying Dutchman. I'll explain what we're doing, but I'll just let you see what happens at the end. So what we're gonna do is we want to set up a specific checkpoint so that when we respawn, we're at a specific position. So I'm gonna slam against the wall here, hold the brakes, and then slowly wedge ourselves against the wall. Alright, so now we need to die, but we can't deplete our health in this room. Nothing deals damage. So the only other way to respawn is to beach the boat. So if we do a little something like that. So the boat's stuck, so the game has an in-game timer. When it's like 8 seconds, if it thinks you're stuck, it will just kill you. Ooh, I did not. Alright, the checkpoint was not right. But you saw I kind of like fidgeted in there. That's kind of the whole thing. So yeah, the checkpoint needs to be very specific, and then we need to respawn at it. And as you saw, we kind of wedge in there, and that is the goal, to get out of bounds. Okay. That should be fine. Yeah, if you go in with too much speed, like, it won't work. It's kind of finicky. Alright, so again, just line ourselves up here, wait the few seconds until it kills us. There we go. So we just kind of clip in, and now we're out of bounds. So now we want to go to the left here, and there's a load zone. Where does this take us? It's the end of the level. So yeah, this completely skips like the whole tutorial section, then the whole like little obstacle course you go through after. So yeah, there's just a load zone to the end of the level, just right there, like a little bit out of bounds. So we managed to figure out that we could get out of bounds and that we could reach that load zone. So yeah. Unfortunately, I didn't get it the first time, but yeah, even though I messed it up, that still saves time over doing it normally. It saves that much time. But yeah, now we're on part 2 of this level. We're gonna do the other function of the boat, which is the cannons. So this is the Crayon cannon. And we have to shoot down some rats that are after us.
Hey, quit running!
So that's Fat Berry right there. They each take 3 hits from the Crayon to sink them. Like that. So it's going to be just him, then it's going to be 2 rats, then it's going to be 3, and then it'll be 2 again. And then it'll be the end of the level.
Hold still!
Please get hit.
Hold still!
The lines will be warm.
Okay. It's a little stressful. Especially when they don't cooperate. It's kind of hard to hit them.
I've got to make it out of this. Not alive. Quit fighting.
Alright, cool. Alright, so now as opposed to waiting for like when they spawn in, right when I sink the 2 of these guys, the level ends. So the other times didn't matter when I missed shots, but this, it does matter. So yeah, cool. I got it fast. Nice.
Did you see that?
Alright, so that was the boat. We will have another boat level and then another sort of boat level. But yeah, that was the main thing. So now we're in Escape the Lair. So we start off really high, which is a good thing because as you saw with attack jumps and death cancels, we're good at descending, but that's like our only movement option. I messed that up. So yeah, I'm skipping a lot of like the intended route. I'm gonna jump off this bridge and grab onto a climbable wall. So yeah, I would have taken fall damage if I landed normally, but fortunately I saved myself. And yeah, we're at a very like far part of the level now. I'm gonna clip through the ground here because that's faster. You can just jump through some ground because they don't have ceilings, and then continually jump through it. Hit this thing, send us far. And yeah, so that's the first part of this level. It's called Escape the Lair and Follow That Girl. So that was Escape the Lair. Typically it's a lot longer, but we are able to skip a lot of it through careful jumping off of things. But yeah, I'm just kind of speaking of what's happening. I'm sure I'll have a better plan as to what to actually commentate about come the marathon. Also, my co-commentator, Newts, he ran this game last year, and is the current world record holder as well. So we will have a better plan, because I know I'm like forgetting, like just introducing the characters and stuff. But I'm just freeballing as it were. Okay, so now we're at the Follow That Girl section. So pretty much Rita has taken the boat and is just leaving us. As you can see, that little indicator at the bottom, how far we are from the boat. Unfortunately, this isn't like a running flagpole type level, where like once you reach the boat, the level ends. No, it's just sort of an arbitrary timer that you have to get to each section within a certain time, and then eventually just reach the end of the level. Which is unfortunate, which means we have to play through it all. But yeah, this doesn't really have any amazing tricks or anything, it's just tight movement. Have to lift up these walls by mashing the buttons as they appear. It's different every time. So you just kind of have to guess which button you need to mash to hopefully get through it fast. It does cap you out. Like, it needs like 4 inputs, I think. So yeah, mashing doesn't help too much, but still. And it's pretty generous too. You can just like mash all 3 buttons, and then when it shows up, you can just start mashing the other one. You're gonna see I dodge that blue propeller point, which would normally just like send me horizontal. The blue ones in particular are very slow, as like in more cases than not, we can just avoid using those because our jumping just gets us further. Some cases, like, it will be unavoidable that we have to use it, but yeah. These garbage cycles that we're on right now, they're also random, just like that gear in an earlier level. So sometimes you're unlucky with the gears, trash cycles, sometimes you get really lucky. So yeah, we're gonna skip these propeller points because we can just make the jump. I'm gonna take some weird movement, go off to the side. I'm actually skipping a cutscene. The cutscene triggers like only like on the land, so if you just jump onto the side, you can avoid it entirely. That cutscene only serves to waste time, so it doesn't load anything. You'll see that with some other cutscenes that we will try to skip. But yeah, unless the game locks my movement, yeah. So I avoided that one blue propeller because it's just faster to jump over. Talking into the void. Yeah, this is gonna be my submission for License-a-thon. So yeah, I've just been kind of like freeballing. Like, I forgot to like introduce the characters and stuff, but like we'll figure it out when we get into the marathon. What? I never miss that. Okay, but anyways, this is, even though I missed it, this is another instance where we don't need to take the propeller points. We can just make the jump over. Yeah, like that. Newt is in chat and he is saying hello. Just by the way. The co-commentator for this run, and you know, who also ran it last year. But yeah, like I said before, this level is pretty straightforward. No major skips we can do, unfortunately. It's just getting to the end. Another instance where we're gonna skip taking the propeller points. And yeah, we're nearly at the end now, so just this grind section. The game locked my movement there, so we'll do that again. Yeah, a lot of this game is not only your own skill, but also fighting the game for control, because for whatever reason the game will just lock your controls sometimes. Like some instances, like you can only move in the cardinal directions. Little annoying, but oh well. So that is the end of the level. And now we are on to the second pure boating level, where we save orphans from drowning, I think. Don't actually remember the whole plot.
Look at them clouds. There's a blooming topsider he is. I don't know. For the question.
So yeah, we gotta talk to Charlie Wu here to get our mission. And then we board the Jamie Dodger to get on to the next level. This will be the same kind of format for the next few levels. Alright. So yeah, now that we're not So unfortunately we can't
Orphans, eh?
skip this level like we did with the first boating level, so we will have to, you know, boat normally. So I guess now would be a good time to introduce what the boat can do. So as you can see, it can jump, and that will be our main form of movement through the water, through things called dolphin dives and insta-boosts. The Jamie Dodger just, its speed is locked in the air, which generally makes it faster. Like a dolphin, we can just go in and out of the water, and that will help us generate speed. Insta-boosting is another kind of spin on that. Talking about spins. Oh, am I really stuck? Okay. So yeah, that's what the timer is for you get stuck on trash, for instance. Yeah. I don't like the boat, or the boat levels. For that reason specifically, it's just very easy to get caught on things. And then, yeah, there's no real checkpoints to this level. You have to get to the end. The goal of this level is to get to the end, and then go from that point back to the start. So, it's just a lot of boat driving. You may also notice on the top right that we have a little infinity sign next to the Roman candles. Since we skipped finishing the tutorial, since we like teleported to the end of the level before finishing the actual tutorial, it never took away our infinite Roman candles, so we just have an infinite amount of them. It doesn't really do much, like having an infinite amount isn't like game breaking. In like a normal playthrough, like you'd only need 6 shots and the game gives you 7, and there's a way to replenish your Roman candles if you somehow miss your shots, so not a big deal, but it's nice you can just go kind of willy-nilly with them without a care in the world. So you could shoot these boxes, but they actually have no weight, so they don't do anything. Alright, so now we are at the end. So this is where we save the orphans by doing something. I think like fixing a drain or something. But now we have to go the other direction. There's just more boating. So even though we do have like dolphin dives and things like that, you can use them like a lot more than I am, but there's just not a lot of room, and like you can generate speed, but then you won't be able to make turns later on, and it'll just end up wasting more time. You'd really be able to show off in that first boat level that we ended up skipping through the Flying Dutchman glitch, or just trick, I guess. So yeah, it's just a lot of the just normal driving, because the game really likes to punish you for trying to do anything crazy with the boat, because you could just end up getting stuck on these trash heaps, and that is no fun, because that would just kill you and then get you sent all the way back. Oh yeah, there's also a timer, as you can see on the top right next to the Roman candles. Yeah, that isn't ever a problem. I don't know how much time that actually equates to now that I think about it, but yeah. If it reaches 0, then you fail the level. So a bit more incentive to save the orphans quickly. But orphans are saved, and we get to leave the level. And now, we go back to the same area that we went to in the second level of the game, Jar of Flies. We're supposed to collect another Jar of Flies for socket set here. However, we just don't do that. We end up just killing a bunch of spiders. And get a new sword. I don't know why. I forget if the game justifies this or not. But yeah, so the big mama spider here, a Brazilian spider named Arachne, her and her children have just, I guess, invaded the sewers. And she does end up threatening Roddy, so it is self-defense. But
would be nice about now.
yeah, so those were spider children. They're actually pretty adept fighters. They have both projectiles and close combat attacks, which is more than I can say for Roddy. But yeah, we will have to deal with them as we take an elevator up to where we fight Arachne. Fall down here. And we try and go to this corner of the elevator. We're going to take out the closest spider. And we're actually far enough away that the other spider doesn't get aggroed. So it will just kind of shake its butt at us, I guess. So yeah, we just have to wait for the elevator to get up there. There's an audio cue when the spider respawns and is about to drop down. So yeah, they'll end up respawning, so there's no point in taking them out. So yeah, that's all the spiders that are going to respawn. So we can stand on this ledge, and oops, I fell off a bit there. But yeah, so we can get off the elevator and go into the first boss fight of the game. So Arachne. So all the bosses are invincible unless you do something to remove their armor. So for Arachne, it's throwing her eggs. She will catch them, and then she will be vulnerable to attack as she tries to place them back down. So yeah, normally it's like a 2.5 cycle, like a cycle being throwing the egg and attacking her. You can do it in one, but it's kind of hard. You have to like get in her way. Yeah. So I was not able to finish her off, so yeah. That's the 2.5 cycle. So that's typical. You're able to get one cycle, like Roddy can like stand like literally in her way so that she can't go to place her egg down. But yeah, it is hard to do because her movement is kind of unpredictable. But that's over. We didn't collect a jar of flies, but we did get a new sword, a new toothpick. It is purely cosmetic and does nothing, even though there's a whole cutscene with it.
Most honorable chosen.
So now we are on to kind of the long haul of this game. So this level itself takes up like 20% of the entire run, just because of its length. We do things to make it go faster, but it still takes a long time, which is tragic.
What's all that?
So yeah, so this is running the gauntlet. There are 4 different rooms, and you go between the rooms via the boat. So there's not too much like actual boating like we saw in A Good Deed, the last boat level. So it's just a means of transportation here. So we aren't able to progress to the other rooms until we activate the switches in each room. So in room 1 here, there's 2 switches. So we go to get the far one first, and then go back around and get the other one. That will then open the door, and then we can move on to the next room. That's the general how this stage works in all the rooms. You see we are being hounded by these soccer hoodlums, or hooligans? I forget what their names are. But yeah, one of them in the green sweater is our fast, close combat people that will hit you either with sausage links or a 2x4. Then there's the ones in the white shirts that throw fruit at you. Alright, Newt's confirmed it is hooligans. So yeah, that was the first switch that activated these weights that dropped down. So now we go back towards the boat and activate the other switch, and then we are out of here. You'll notice this long animation Roddy does. There's actually a way to skip it. I don't know the exact mechanics behind it. I'm pretty sure you have to like be in the radius to activate it, but then immediately exit that radius. But I don't know. It's finicky doing it in real time. But yeah, so that skips the animation, so you don't have to watch that. The door still opens even without the animation playing out, so long as you activate it. So it saves about like 3 or 4 seconds each animation skip you do, and there's 4 switches total that you can activate the switch and possibly get the animation skip. Whoops. Alright, so I'm breaking down this wall. Just so Roddy can get through it. So this is room 2. The gimmick here is that there's 1 switch, however it is broken. We need 3 gears in order to fix it. So this is the longest room in the level, so it involves collecting 3 gears and then going to the switch. So a lot of just moving around. This brick wall that we broke down, we wanted to try and skip it. As you can see, there's like a gap right there. Unfortunately, it is about like 0.1 or like 0.2 like distance units. Like we actually like measured it out through like we were able to get like the coordinates of like characters and stuff in this game. So we measured it out, but it is unfortunately just barely too long for us to make it across. So unfortunately, we do have to destroy the wall in order to get through it, as opposed to jumping across, which is very, very sad. So we're on our way to the second gear here. We have to just climb on these little platforms. You'll see Roddy grab onto them. This one in particular, you have to, he doesn't automatically grab on, so you have to do an attack in midair so that he'll grab on like quicker. It's like, saves barely any time, but it does help. I don't know if I can do that actually. Yeah. So you can skip some of these blue propellers, but only if you're positioned right. I wasn't confident in my position, so I took most of them. But I did try to skip as many as I could. Alright, there's just one more gear left, and then we are free to room 3. So for this gear, you're supposed to like go around and like traverse up high again, kind of. But there's actually a small lip here that we can stand on just briefly to jump off of and make it around like that. Roddy does not like grabbing onto this wall for whatever reason. So yeah. Oh, this is a weird mechanic. Yeah, so as you saw Roddy go light speed there, or warp speed, sorry. Light speed is a unit of distance. Yeah, there's sweet spots on those zip lines, and some of them, like those ones, just launch you at insane speeds. So we've activated the door, and now we can leave for room 3. So room 3 is home to this minigame called Pathfinder, one of 2 minigames in the game. We're not going to play Pathfinder, so what you're supposed to do in the minigame is use a crane with exploding onions to move boxes to create a bridge to get to the other side. However, the boxes are lined up in such a way that we can make a very tight jump to get over to the other side without actually having to play the minigame. So yeah, there's that crane you can see up there. But I'm just gonna line myself very carefully here. Jump off the corner. And there we go. So now we're on the other side. We did not have to play that mini game. And we're good to head to the other switch. Maybe I'll get the animation skip here. Let's see. No. Unfortunate. So yeah, the animation skips are like pretty much luck, or we don't have a consistent way to do it like in real time. So now we make our way back. Fortunately, the trip back is a lot easier than it was to get over there. So yeah, that is the 3rd room. So now we're on to the 4th and final room, which is, we stop playing as Rita and play as Rita, actually. Who we haven't played for in a lot of levels, actually. Yeah, nothing too special about that. Room 4, it's just getting around with her grapples, activating a switch, and getting to the end of the level. Yeah, we're at the home stretch for this level. Yeah, Rita's airspeed is so slow that typically on slopes we would jump, but she's so slow in the air that it's just faster to walk up the ramp. I'm surprised I dodged all the fruit there. Typically it's like a rite of passage to get hit by 1 or 2 of those fruit that gets thrown out those windows, but I will most likely get hit by the next barrage of fruits and stuff. Well, I didn't. That was surprising. So yeah, now we're near the end of this room. We just have to get to that switch over yonder. And then we just boat our way to the end of the level. And then we'll pretty much be in endgame. So this is the other time we need to actually use the Roman candles. So that switch we just did opened up the bridge that we just went under, but now we have to shoot out this lock, so then that we can actually get to the other side. Right. I paused right there to get myself to a certain menu option. We're gonna do a cutscene skip here. Alright, so I switched to the cannons, one of the cannons of the Jamie Dodger, and when you're in that mode, the game just doesn't track where you are, or can't track it like normally. So typically if you cross that section, a cutscene would start. But doing that allows you to just skip activating that cutscene, because the game doesn't think you're actually there, so you just pretty much stealth your way through. That barely saves any time. In fact, it may just be equal to if you just take the cutscene and skip it, but you know. Alright, so this is the other minigame, other than Pathfinder. It's called Castle Siege. There are 3 flags that we have to take from the opponent. We take them either by using our hard-boiled egg launcher that I whiffed. I'm trying to get to a closer position.
Another one down!
There we go.
That was embarrassing.
So, yeah. So the plan is to knock out this big building, so then we can see where the flags are placed. And then, yeah, we have to shoot either with the hard-boiled eggs or the Crayon cannon to take all the flags and win the game. Nice. You can actually end the game very early if the flags are placed in a certain combination. You can actually hit them all with 1 egg. So it saves a ton of time doing that. However, you have to first have the right combination, like the opponent needs to have the right flag combination. And you need to hit it even though the catapult is random. Like, it doesn't always shoot the same, even if you have the same angle and everything. So now we're at French Frog Legs. We are fighting Le Frog, cousin to the Toad, who is the main antagonist of this game. So this one also just has a bunch of rooms that we have to get through. In a switch from the last level, we played 3 rooms as Rita, and then final one as Roddy. These rooms go much faster, as you can see. That was a grapple jump right there. And yeah. So a lot of these rooms, in terms of optimization, is just skipping as many grapples as we can. We cut a lot of corners with these grapples. These rooms are supposed to take longer if you take the intended route, but we just go ahead and skip through it. So now we're at Roddy's section where we fight Le Frog, the second boss game. He's kind of annoying. First you have to hit his tongue to make him vulnerable. You do this attack combo to deal as much damage as possible before he runs away. The next hit he will like jump away immediately, so we... Whoops. Okay. Roddy did not lock on there. Alright, so now we hit him with the spin move. I have no idea where he went. Okay. Now he does these cartwheel things, which is a lot easier to hit him. And the boss fight is over.
You are defeated, sir.
Alright, now we're on the last level of the game. I'm actually making pretty decent time. I haven't run this game from today for a while. I think a few months, but... Yeah, anyway, so this is the final level, so this is our final confrontation with the Toad that's split up into multiple different sections. So the first we play as Roddy. The Toad is gonna start throwing these flasks of liquid nitrogen at us. We want him to hit his own like computer things. He has 3 of them, and each of them take 3 hits. So we go for the left one first. We'll go for the left one. Sorry, the right one next. And finally, go for the far one of attack.
I'm hopping mad now.
Alright, that was that section done. Now Rita gets to fight. If you remember those 3 rats that we
Cheers, mate.
fought in that boat shooting section, we now fight them hand to hand. They all have a unique weakness. So first up is Fat Barry. He doesn't like cold vents, I guess. So when they're knocked down, you can hit them for a bit, but all 3 take 2 cycles to defeat normally. There is a way to beat them in 1 cycle, but that requires just really good positioning and timing. And you have to use Rita's spin move that isn't very consistent to hit. There's no forward hitbox with it, so makes it very hard to hit. So now is Lady Killer.
Look away. Look away.
We knock his toupee off and then wail on him. And they're down. So now this is the last section we play as Roddy. We pretty much just go through
Obstacle course at home.
an obstacle course to chase down the Toad before we pass the baton to Rita to finish it off. My jump didn't work. Okay, this time just hop on the walls to get through this section. And so now there's just a bunch of steam and a bunch of instant kill things, like this crushing wall and those electric beams. So, pretty dangerous, but not too bad. Oh, well, bad if you get hit and fall into the void, but nonetheless. Now in this final like straightaway, there's gonna be a fan at the end of it, and you're supposed to turn off the fan so you can get through, but they didn't put a hitbox on it, so you can just jump through. So yeah, that's it for Roddy. So now we are playing as Rita. So for this, we have to pretty much turn a switch on each of the computers, grapple up to this thing, press this button, and release the liquid nitrogen, I guess.
Stand still and let me kill you.
So we have to do this 3 times total, so that's 2.
You have met your match, rodent.
And 3. So now is our final battle with the Toad. We don't fight him directly. Again, he throws his little flasks of liquid nitrogen. But what Rita can do with her bungee cord is knock him down, and then knock out the platforms he's standing on. So once all the platforms are down, that is the end of the game, and that is time.
Stand still and let me kill you.
And that's flushed away.
Well done.
Yeah.
Seems like the evil demise of rodent kind has been
I don't really know what else to say here.
I think you've spent a bit too
Hope
much
we can get the
time
game in
around our
again this
warty
year.
friend.
Speaking of whom, where has he gone off
Yeah.
to?
Go
He
license
tried to
upon.
stop the floodgate closing and got